to go for game number 6 in the 1968 World Series, and Dick McCauliffe, the left-hand batting second baseman of the Tigers, to lead off against right-hander Ray Washburn. Well, the outfield will play McCauliffe rather deep and around the right, batting .286 in the World Series. McCauliffe takes a breaking ball, strike one. Shannon at third base, Maxwell at short, Javier at second, Cepeda at first, that's the infield, Brock in left, Flood in center, Maris in right. That's the outfield alignment for the Cardinals. McCarver the catcher, and Washburn the right-hander on the mound. He winds, he pitches, and it's a strike call, strike two. So Washburn is quickly ahead of the Tiger leadoff man, Dick McCauliffe. Right-hander checks his sign, goes to work. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss, struck him out. One up and one out, Stanley batting next. Seemed to get him on a changeup, Pee-wee.
You kind of get the type of pitching Washburn is right there. A lot of times you'll see a pitcher walk after and start the first batter off with a fastball. Washburn did not do it. He started him off with a curveball, got a strike over. Then he came right back with a fastball, caught McCauliffe looking, then came in there with a real good changeup. Caught him taking.
Here's the right-hand batting shortstop, Mickey Stanley of the Tigers. No score first inning. We're just underway. There's a fly ball hit the right. Going back is Maris. He'll have room. He's under it. Makes the catch, 2 out. Stanley was batting .211 in the series. And now Al Kaline came off the Baltimore Sandlots to play throughout his professional career in the major leagues. A .381 average. He's the top Tiger hitter in this series. Washburn looks him over. 2 out, nobody on. No score. The very first inning. The pitch is on the way. He takes the strike and above the knees. Oh, that kind of stuff to hit on that outside corner just above the knees. Washburn looks very sharp. Outfield straight up on the K-line now. 2 out, nobody on. There's a curve that dips low and away. 1-1 the counter now. K-line had to have a foot operation a couple of years ago. Osteomyelitis of his foot. That had it corrected. There's a foul ball out of play in the seats. 1-2 the count. 2 out, nobody on. The game scoreless. Just underway. Delayed slightly by rain in Busch Stadium. Washburn was born in Pasco, Washington. Now lives in Kirkland. He's 30 years old and attended Whitworth College. Now rocks and deals, and it's a cut and a miss. Struck him out. The inning's over. At the end of a half inning, Detroit nothing. The Cardinals coming to bat.
Along with Ernie Harwell at Busch Stadium in St. Louis, Missouri. Ray Washburn against Denny McLain. Washburn in the first inning looked real sharp, hitting that outside corner with the breaking pitch. McCauliffe struck out. Stanley fried out to right field. And Al Kaline struck out on a slow curveball. The first 3 hitters for the Cardinals. And the one fella that's be leading off, Brock, who must be kept off of those sacks. He's been starting off practically every game with a base hit. It'll be Brock, Flood, and Maris. To tell you all about it, Ernie Harwell.
Thank you, Pee-wee. Well, Pee-wee, you were a good leadoff man, and in the World Series, some of the great leadoff hitters, Stanley Hack back in 1938, he hit .471. Harry Hooper of Boston went 2 series in 1915 and 16 and hit in every game. And Bobby Richardson of the Yankees had 2 great World Series as a leadoff man. But Brock has certainly been fabulous with a .524 average so far. McLain delivers a bounding ball foul just outside of third base. Word has to lay in close on Lou Brock because of the bunting potential in this situation. And naturally, that makes it a little easy for Lou to punch the ball past the third baseman. It's Word at third, Stanley at short for the Tigers, McCauliffe at second, Cash at first, Horton, Northrup, and Kaline of the outfield, freehand catching. McLain ready, delivers. It's a bounding ball back to McLain. He leaps and gloves it. Throw to Cash. 1 up and 1 out. Brock is out. Pitcher to first. And the batter will be the center fielder, Kurt Flood, batting at an even 300 mark right now. McLain started every game in which he appeared in the American League season, a total of 41. And he went 336 innings. A lot of work for Denny. Here's the pitch. It's a curve low and away. Ball one. The game is scoreless. The Cardinals are to bat in the last half of the first inning. The bases are empty and one out. A right-hand batting Kurt Flood waits. The pitch is a ball high. That looked like a breaking ball. 2-0, the count on Flood. Flood has 2 RBIs. His only extra base hit is a double. McLain checks his sign with freehand. The 2-0 delivery. Cut on a line shot to Stanley. He grabs it for the out. Caught that ball about ankle high. Hit very hard, but right to the shortstop Stanley. And here's the veteran Roger Maris, who says this is his last baseball competition for this World Series. Maris with 1 hit in 12 trips. It was a double. He has 1 RBI. He's the oldest of the Cardinals. And this is his 7th World Series. The outfield is around the right on Roger. No score first inning. In the 6th game, the pitch is a ball in the dirt. Well, the weather looked very threatening, menacing early this morning. It began to rain around 9 o'clock here in St. Louis. It continued up until about 11:30 off and on, and even up until game time. It was raining and then stopping. But right now, on the cloudy skies and the temperature reading about 60 degrees, the battle is underway. The 1-0 pitch is a strike on the outside corner, 1-1. Maris likes to pull the ball. McLain trying to keep it away from the inside corner. Now the 1-1 delivery. Cut on a bounding ball, high to third, on the hop, grabbed by Wirt, throw to first, got him, and the side retired 1-2-3. At the end of 1 inning, it's the Cardinals nothing, Detroit nothing. Each team going down 1-2-3 in the opening inning. And now the Tigers send to bat Norman Cash, Willie Horton, and Jim Northrup to face Ray Washburn. Cash has had a good series. He's batting .333. 6 hits at 18 trips, one of them a home run. Outfield bent deep to right. They'll play this gentleman to pull. Infield also swung in that right field direction. The wind-up and the pitch, it's a curve low. Ball 1. Pee Wee, very few lineup changes in this entire series.
That's right. After Mayo Smith made up his mind on Mickey Stanley coming into play shortstop, he hasn't changed it at all. Of course, in a little bit in the late innings, he has moved Stanley out to center field and brought Ray all in at shortstop. But starting lineups, no.
Washburn ready to go now. Cash waiting and takes a ball in close. 2-0. Mr. Haller had to adjust the lines of the batting box down there for a moment. Washburn peering in to get his sign. No score, 2nd inning. Cash takes a ball outside. 3-0. Well, the inside lines of the batter's box are always erased by the umpires. They feel that those chalk marks there might interfere with their vision of the pitch ball. Cash standing very deep, waiting on a 3-0 pitch. Strike, letter high, 3-1. Washburn has won 1 game in this series. Gibson took the other 2 for the Cardinals. Lolich has won the Tiger 2 victories. The pitch, Cash takes ball 4, the first run of the game. He walks. That will bring up Willie Horton, the Detroit slugger with a 188 batting average. Willie had a home run here in the 2nd game in St. Louis. The outfield plays him deep and almost straight away. The Cardinals do not play Willie to pull the ball as much as most of his American League rivals do. Infield in double play depth. Cash leading off the bag at first. Cepeda holds with him. No score, 2nd inning. It's a curve across, letter high. Strike call. Now, when Willie first came to the major leagues, he got a steady diet of slow curveballs. He's learned to hit that tight pitch a little bit better and doesn't see quite that many. Cash with a short lead at first base. Cepeda holds with him. Washburn ready, delivers. Here's a slow curve that fouls off McCarver's hand. count on him. Got him on the right wrist. Cloudy skies in St. Louis. Game number 6. The Cardinals lead 3 victories to 2 over the Detroit Tigers. Not much of a breeze around these parts right now. Ray Washburn ready to deliver. Here's a curve outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Washburn suffered with a tear in his shoulder muscle in the '63 season, but has well recovered from that. The right-handed checks his sign, waiting on a 1-2 pitch is Willie Horton. Here it comes. Fastball swung on. Line drive, left center field, maybe up the alley. It is between the outfielders. Rounding second, heading for third is Norman Cash. He's coming around third. He'll score. It's a 2-bagger for Horton, and the Tigers lead 1-0. Right between the outfielders, Brock in left and Flood in center with that line drive, a rather high line drive toward the 386-foot marker. And Willie Horton drives in Norman Cash for the game's first run. The Tigers lead 1-0. Here's the outfielder Jim Northrup at bat for Detroit. Northrup batting 158 in the series. It's a curve in close, ball 1. In the second game here in St. Louis, the Tigers went out in front with a single run in the second inning, and eventually won that game 8-1. There's a curve across. 1-1. Tigers lead. Second inning, Northrup the batter, 1-1 to count on him. Horton on second base, nobody down. The outfield deep to right on Northrup. Washburn delivers a curve, it backs him off. 2-1 to count.
Ernie with no one out. Left-handed hitter up there. I'm sure that Washburn would like to keep Jim North from pulling that ball and advancing Willie Horton to third base. Let's see if he can do it.
He's gone to a 2-1 count down Northrup. Now Ray sets and delivers. It's a bounding ball to first base foul. He pulled it, but he pulled it a little too much. Washburn with a new baseball to work with. Tugs his cap by as he looks in to get his sign from Tim McCarver. Tigers lead it 1-0. It's the second inning. And a 2-2 count on Northrup. Here it comes. He swings and misses on a curve. There's that change-up curve again, Pee-wee.
Looks to me like that's Washburn's best pitch, his change-up curve. He's taken quite a bit off of his curveball. 2-1 to Willie Horton, and Willie Horton was way out in front of it. Then he tried to come back with a change of sequence of pitches and throw the fastball by Willie. And he creamed it from left center right down that power alley.
Here is Bill Freehan, the Tiger catcher, who has failed to hit in 16 turns at bat so far in this series. The outfield on Bill is around the left, but not very much. Horton on second, 1-0. Detroit leads in the second. There's a curve, but it hangs high to Freehan, ball 1. In St. Louis, set by Washburn to pitch. A curve is low, 2-0. Well, he's throwing that curve a lot. Tony Cuccinello is the third base coach for Detroit. Wally Moses coaches at first base. Wally is also the batting coach for the Detroit team. Washburn getting his sign from McCarver. Tigers lead 1-0 in the second. It's a ball outside, 3-0.
Ernie, I'm sure that Mayo Smith, realizing that Bill Freehan is 0 for 16 in this series, he'd like to get this fella started off with a base hit, even though the count is 3-0 on him right now. I'm sure that he has gotten the green light. If the ball's in there, he's going to be swinging away.
Well, Bill waiting now, and here's that 3-0 pitch from Washburn. He looked at a strike. Fastball headed high. Washburn has not thrown many fastballs yet. There was one right there. Horton on second. Detroit leads 1-0. One man down in the first half of the second inning. Freehand leaning and waiting on a 3-1 delivery from Ray Washburn. Here it is. He swings a base hit to left field. Horton coming to third base. Brock has the ball. It bounced by him and up to the fence. Horton will score easily. Freehand is going around second. He tags second, heads to third. Brock retrieves the ball and fires back into Shannon, and on to third goes Freehand. It is 2-0 Detroit. Well, we'll wait for the official scorer's verdict. That will be a single and an error charged to Brock. Brock is charged with an error. In left field, that's the second Cardinal error of the series. The Detroit Tigers have 2-0 lead. In the first half of the second inning, they've got one out and Freehand at third base. Freehand gets his first hit and will pick up an RBI on the single. And the Cardinals are pulling their infield in tight now with a man at third base for the Tigers at only one away. Don Wirt is the batter. 2-0 Detroit. Wirt hitting 91 for the World Series. Right-hand batter takes the fastball high. 2 runs on 2 hits for Detroit. No runs and no hits for the Cardinals. Now the wind-up by Washburn. The pitch. Wirt swings and misses. 1-1. Outfield is straight up. The infield to the inner grass. They're a little closer on the right field side of the infield than on the side between second and third. Washburn checks his sign. It's a 1-1 count on Wirt. And a curve is low. 2-1. Peely, what kind of instructions would Freehand have in this situation on third base?
Well, I'm sure that Tony Cuccinello, with one man out, he just tells the base runner at third base, make sure that ball is through. That's about all you can tell. Of course, if it's a tap ball over the pitcher's mound, he should try to come in.
Here's a high curve that seemed to get away from Washburn and hang inside. 3-1, that's the count. Tigers lead, 2-0. Man on third. It's the second inning. They've got one out. Now the 3-1 delivery. And Wirt takes a strike. He hits the outside corner with a hook. Stepping out, and then back into the batter's box. Detroit is scored on a walk. A double by Horton. A single by Freehand. Now the windup, the pitch. Curve in close. He walks. It's the second walk off Washburn, both in this inning. Puts a man on first and a man on third. It'll bring up Denny McLain.
I'm sure that Ray Washburn, the 8th place hitter, Don Wirt up there, the man on third base, Wirt is much more capable of hitting a fly ball or a base hit to score that man than Denny McLain. Now then, the infield can play back since you have runners on first and third. He didn't want to give Wirt anything good to hit.
McLain is 0 for 2 as a batter in this World Series. Fastball low to Denny, ball 1. Is not a real good hitting pitcher, but he's not a very bad one either. Billy Muppet, the pitching coach, comes out now to talk to Washburn and his battery mate, Tim McCarver. So the Detroit Tigers have jumped in front here with 2 runs off Washburn in the second, a walk to Cash. Horton doubled him home. Then after Northrup struck out, Freehand singled, scoring Horton, and Freehand took third when the ball got by the left fielder of the Cardinals, Lou Brock. Wirt then drew a walk on a 3-2 pitch, and that's where we are now with McLain batting, and ball 1 the count on him. 2 men on and 1 man out. The pitch. Swing, a tap hit down the third baseline, may be foul. It goes into foul territory. He topped that one, and it was a rather high hopper down toward third base, foul. So the runners come back, and the count is still 1 ball and 1 strike. Backed up in double play depth. Cepeda holding on the bag with a runner at first base, Don Wirt. McLain leaning in, waiting on a 1-1 delivery. Swings at the bounding ball to shortstop. Maxwell there, underhands to Javier for 1. Relay to first. It's a double play for the Cardinals, and the side retired. And at the end of 1 1/2 innings, Detroit 2, Cardinals nothing. Orlando Cepeda, the Cardinals' first baseman, batting .238 for the series, will lead off for the Cards. He has 2 home runs and 6 RBI. Detroit leads 2-0, second inning. It's a strike call. He got a fastball in the inside corner. Denny McLain, the 31-game winner for the Tigers, on the mound. Kicks and delivers a sidearm fastball outside, 1-1. That's the pitch that McLain will throw once in a while against the right-hand batter. Detroit 2, St. Louis nothing in the second. Here's the pitch. Swung on, a base hit, left field. Horton comes in to field the ball. Cepeda holds it first for the leadoff single. So each of these 2 teams went out 1, 2, 3 in the first inning, and then the leadoff man gets on in the second. Cash walk for the Tigers. Cepeda singles for the Cardinals. And the fine St. Louis catcher, Tim McCarver, batting .350, steps up. Left-hand hitting catcher, the infield and double play depth on Tim. Cash holding on the bag with Cepeda. McCarver looks at a strike. Joe Schultz is the third base coach for the Redbirds. Dick Sisler coaches at first. Cloudy skies in St. Louis. Tigers lead the Cardinals in the second. 2-0. The Cards have a man on and nobody out. Denny McLain ready to pitch to Tim McCarver. And now time call by plate umpire Bill Haller. Here's a tap foul in the dirt back of the plate. Now, hit safely in each of the first 5 games of the series. Kaline, Brock, Flood, and Javier. Here's a pitch. He swings, fly ball, right center field. Northrup digging hard towards Kaline. Kaline makes the catch on the run. Bluffs the throw, and Cepeda goes back to first base. Was hit rather shallow in right center field. Northrup raced for it, so did Kaline, and Kaline made the catch. McCarver is out, and Mike Shannon bats next, hitting .286. This fella's always dangerous, isn't he, Pee Wee?
Yes, he is. This fella had quite a year. He led this club in runs batted in and important base hits. He's always going to base hit to tie the ball game or to win a ball game. And does a good job defensively at third, to it being in there only 1 year.
Shannon takes a curve that misses the outside corner. Ball 1. Man on first, 1 man out. Tigers lead the Cardinals in the second inning. Detroit 2, St. Louis nothing. Cepeda not getting much of a lead at first base right now. Cash on the bag with him. There's a foul ball out of play. Swung late on it. Hits the seats. 1-1 the count. To wear regular glasses. He discarded those for contact lenses. He has a tinted lens over one eye and a clear lens over the other one. He did have 2 sets, but he lost 1 lens out of each set. Here's the pitch. Swung on a bounding ball to short. Stanley has it. Over to McCauliffe. 1. Relay to Cash. Double play. And at the 2 innings, Detroit 2, Cardinals nothing.
Pee-wee Reese along with Ernie Harwell at Busch Stadium. We're going to the top half of the third inning. Ray Washburn against Denny McLain. The Tigers lead in this ball game by a score of 2-0. They scored 2 runs in the top half of the second inning. As Cash walked, Harton doubled. Northrup then struck out. Freehand single got his first base hit in this series. He went all the way to third on an error by Brock in left field. Then McLain with the runners on first and third. 1 out, hit into double play. A fast one from the shortstop to the second baseman, the first baseman. Top half the third inning, Dick McAuliffe the hitter, and Ernie Harwell will tell you all about it.
McAuliffe, the first time up, struck out swinging on a slow curveball. Ray Washburn, Cardinal right-hander, ready to go into action once again now, and here's the windup and the pitch on the way. Taken a fastball high, ball one on McCullough. Outfield swung around deep to right on Dick. He opens up that stance, leans back on the rear foot, waiting on the next delivery. Here it comes. He takes the ball. It's low, 2-0 the count. Detroit leads 2-0. Dick McAuliffe leading off for the Tigers in the third. The Cardinals lead in the series, 3 victories to 2. Washburn ready, kicks and deals. Here's a ball outside. He checked his swing on an outside third. 3-0 the count on McAuliffe. McAuliffe, a young man from Connecticut. His late father was a house painter. Dick came up through the Detroit farm system. Now the motion, the 3-0 delivery. Ball 4, walked in. That'll be the third walk issued by Washburn. He gave up 2 in the second inning. Each team has come up with a double play. Here's Stanley, who applied to right, his first time at bat. Well, it's a testimonial, Pee-wee, that the shortstop experiment has worked. The fact that nobody ever talks about it anymore in this series.
I'll tell you one thing, Ernie, was quite a topic of conversation in the first couple games.
It sure was. Here's Stanley batting with a man on first base. Runner goes, pitch is swung on and fouled off. They had to hit and run. Stanley trying to punch the ball behind the runner McAuliffe, and he fouled it to the seats.
Ernie, you've seen this ball club all year. I know they don't steal too much, but do they hit and run much?
They hit and run quite a bit in this situation. They'll hit and run with Stanley at bat and McAuliffe at first base, and they'll hit and run quite a bit with Kalan at bat and sometimes with Cash. Now the set by Washburn and the pitch. It's a pitch out, but nothing happens. Ball 1, 1-1. That time McAuliffe was holding at first base. Tigers lead 2-0. They're batting in the third against the champion St. Louis Cardinals.
Quite often you'll see a manager, when they pitch out like that, they may come right back with that hit and run.
Well, we'll see. Here's the set now, the 1-1 delivery. Line drive to left field. McAuliffe not going. He checks in and holds it second. Brock fields the ball on 2 skips, and the Tigers have 2 men on and nobody down in the third inning. So a walk to McAuliffe and a single by Stanley, giving the Tigers another scoring threat. It was a walk to Cash that started a 2-run surge by the Detroiters in the second inning. And here's Al Kaline coming to bat. He fanned his first trip. Al now batting .364 with 8 for 22. Now the infield for the Cardinals setting itself in double play depth against Kaline. Washburn sets, pitches. Kaline takes a high, hard one in close, ball 1. Cepeda laying in close inside the bag at first, but wide of it. Shannon just a step behind third base and fairly close to the bag. So Kaline waits on Washburn's 1-0 delivery. Swings as a line shot right center field. It'll be a base hit. McAuliffe rounding third. He's headed home and will score. The throw comes to the second. Tigers lead 3-0. Stanley takes third. Kaline safe at first. And there's nobody out. And here comes Billy Muffett, the pitching coach of the Cardinals, out again. So Kaline delivers and gets his 5th RBI of the series.
Well, Ernie, I think that everyone here at the ballpark, and we can see that Ray Washburn looked real sharp in that first inning. But in the second inning, he started off a walking Cash, and he was just not hitting the corners and keeping that ball down like Ray likes to do, I'm sure. With his curveball and his breaking pitch, he was missing with it. Then when he decided to come inside with his fastball, he was coming in too far with it. So he has definitely had a control problem. He struck out 3 since he's been in there, but he has walked 3. And some of the base hits that they've been gotten, they have not been good pitches.
Now, Pee-wee, as if we'll have a new pitcher. Washburn, in this game, was appearing in his 4th World Series game and his 2nd series start. He started in the game in Detroit. On Saturday, he won that game 7-3 and allowed 3 runs and 3 hits in 5 1/3 innings. And gave up home runs off the bats of Kaline and McAuliffe and a single by McAuliffe. And incidentally, Kaline has now hit safely into every game of the series. Well, we'll see a left-hander come on now. Larry Jaster, a tall left-hander, native of Midland, Michigan. He's 24 years old. And he'll be pitching against the Detroit Tigers. So that is all for Ray Washburn. There's a round of applause for Ray as he leaves the mound. The Tigers are picking up 3 runs and 4 hits off him. He walked 3 and he struck out 3. He leaves 2 runners on the bases as his responsibility. Jaster won 9 and lost 13 in the National League season. He's a 24-year-old left-hander, an all-state quarterback, Midland High School in Michigan, and attended Michigan State. But the Cardinals, who sent him to school, would not let him play football. And at one time, the Detroit Tigers hired him, but to paint the bleachers in center field. So he's a one-time Detroit Tiger employee. What's his pitching selection, Pee-wee?
Well, I know one thing. If he can come back to pitch against the Tigers today, like he did against the Dodgers, not this year, but last year when he shut him out 5 times in 1 year, he could be tough. Larry relies mostly used to on a good fastball, but they say that this year he went to more breaking stuff, but he had an exceptional fastball. I think that's what you'll see today. He can come with these fastballs, keeps it up most of the time.
Throws that foot out there and those elbows at you a little bit too, doesn't he?
Yes, he does.
He's 6'3", weighs a little over 200 pounds, and he'll be pitching to Norman Cash, who normally has some trouble with left-hand pitchers. Norm Cash, he walked and scored a run his only time at bat. So he keeps his average at .333 for the World Series. Detroit 3, Cardinals nothing. It's the 3rd. And the Cardinals are laying their infield back in double play depth. Stanley at third base, Kaline at first for Detroit. Set by Larry Jaster. He kicks and deals, and there's a line shot to left center field for a hit. That'll score another run. Stanley scores. Kaline races on to third base. And the Detroiters now have a 4-0 lead over the St. Louis Cardinals. Cash drives home Stanley with a single to left center. Moves Kaline on to third. That run is charged to Washburn, who now is charged for the first 4 runs and has the responsibility of the man at third, Al Kaline. A walk and 3 straight singles now by the Tigers, scoring 2 more runs to add to their pair in the second, and they lead 4-0. Here's Willie Horton, who doubled his only time at bat, facing the left-hander Jaster. It's a ball high, ball 1. Horton faced this gentleman, Larry Jaster, in sandlot ball around the Michigan area. Man on first and a man on third. 4-0 Detroit leading. Here's a pitch. It's a curve in close, 2-0 on Willie Horton. Batted in 1 apiece, Kaline, Cash, Horton, and Freehand. Detroit has 5 hits, the Cardinals 1. Jaster ready, 2-0 pitch, tap foul off the mitt of McCarver. 2-1 the count on Willie Horton. Willie was cleaning out the garage at home the other day, and some glass fell down, hit him in the face, but it didn't bother his eyeballs. It hit him right around the eyes and punctured the skin a little bit. But nothing serious. Here's a foul ball out of play. 2-2. That's just another reason, Pee-wee, why all us husbands shouldn't work around the house, right?
Honey, I'm glad you brought that up, because I'm not too strong around the house either.
I get mad when they make me move my feet so they can run the vacuum cleaner. 2-2. That's the count on Willie Horton. Infield still in double play depth. 2 men on, nobody out. Jaster sets and delivers. It's a ball low, 3-2. Kaline is the Tiger runner third, Cash the runner first base. Kaline is one of the best base runners on the Tiger team. Now, Willie Horton very deliberate in the way he wants to set himself in that batter's box to face Larry Jaster. The left-hander sets and deals, and it's a foul on the screen, 3-2, the count stays. Detroit, 4 runs, 5 hits. The Cardinals, no runs and 1 hit. It's the first series appearance for Jaster this year. Now sets, 3-2 pitch. Swung on and fouled away. Back to the screen again. Willie not getting around on that fastball. They play this fellow about as deep as they do anybody, don't they, Pee Wee?
I don't understand why.
Here's the set now by Jaster. And the pitch. Horton takes ball 4. That will load the bases. It's the first walk-off Jaster. The first 5 Detroit batters in this third inning have reached base. And here is Jim Northrup at bat with the bases loaded. In the American League season at Cleveland, he hit 2 grand slam home runs back-to-back. Detroit 4, St. Louis nothing. Tigers at bat in the third with the bases loaded and nobody out. Northrup manned his first trip. Left-hander against the left-hander. The pitch is a ball low and away.
Honey, you're talking about Northrup hitting. Well, he led the majors with 4 grand slams. This is talking about the 2. He hit 1 game in Cleveland. He came back and hit another one in the same week. He's the first player to ever hit 3 grand slams in 1 week.
Here's a high fly ball deep to right. Maris going way back. Might be. It is gone. A grand slam for Northrup. Tigers lead 8-0. The slammer getting greetings as he comes to the Tiger dugout, and the Detroit Tigers have roared in with 6 runs here in the third inning and now lead the world champion Cardinals 8-0 with nobody on and nobody out in the third. Well, happy moments in the Tiger dugout as Northrup gets a greeting. Mr. Muppet has gone to the mound again. Jaster will be replaced. So he pitched to Cash, who singled, Horton, who walked, and Northrup, who hit a grand slam home run.
You know, Ernie, this series is more or less following the same pattern of last year with the Red Sox. Well, Gibson has won 2 games. Lombard won 2 games. Lolich has won 2 games this year. Gibson has won 2 games. I think they're building up to the same thing. The 7th and final game tomorrow, which will be Gibson and Lolich. I'm sure Lolich will be going for the Tigers. But I'm not exactly counting this game out either, even though the score is 8-0. I would say that the Tigers are in pretty good shape. McAuliffe facing Ray Washburn. Walked to start things off here. In the top half of the third inning. Then Stanley singled. Al Kaline singled, scoring McAuliffe. Billy Muppet, the pitching coach for the Cardinals, went out and got Washburn and brought in Larry Jaster. And Larry Jaster did not have too much luck. He pitched a 3-man. Jaster, first man. Jim Northrup had hit 4 grand slams this year, 3 in 1 week. And what did he do? He just hit one out of this ballpark, driving in 4 runs. And the Tigers have come up with 6 runs here in the top half of the third inning. Ron Willis is now in there to take over for Larry Jaster. be facing Bill Freehand, the first hitter. The Tigers have 8 runs on 6 hits. They have not made a miscue. The Cardinals, no runs on 1 hit, and have made 1 miscue, and there's still no one out.
Well, Pee Wee, the first 6 men who came up there all scored a run for Detroit. The last Grand Slam home run of the World Series was Joe Pepitone in '64. This is number 11. Now, Ron Willis is the new pitcher. A right-hander delivers a high curve to Bill Freehand, ball 1. So Jasta pitched to 3 batters and gave up 3 runs and 1 hit and walked 1. Washburn allowed the first 5 Detroit runs. 8-0 Detroit lead. Willis delivers. It's a ball outside. 2-0. Willis has appeared in 1 game. He went 3 2/3 innings and allowed no runs and 1 hit, walked a couple. He's a 25-year-old right-hander from Memphis, Tennessee. Signed off the Sandlots here at Kirkwood, Missouri High School as an outfielder and then turned pitcher after he went pro. Ron Willis, W-I-L-L-I-S, pitching to Freehand. Backed him off with a curve, 3-0, the count of the Tiger catcher. 8-0 Detroit lead. Here's a ball wide. He walked it. That's the 3rd walk in this inning. 1 off each of the 3 pitchers who has worked in this inning. So Don Wirt is the 8th batter to come up for Detroit in the 3rd. Wirt's series average is 91. He has 1 hit and 11 turns. Walked in the 2nd inning. It's a strike on the inside corner. Strike 1. Detroit leads 8-0. As the vaunted power of the Tigers has asserted itself here in this inning. Taps the foul out of play, sidearm fastball. Strike 2, the count on Wirt. Detroit has scored its 8 runs on 6 hits. Cardinals have no runs and 1 hit. There's a curve that is outside, 1 and 2 on Wirt. Freehand, the Tiger under first base, nobody out. Now the set by Willis, the pitch is on the way. He swings and pops the foul. It'll be out of play, back of the plate. For the 3rd Cardinal pitcher, Ron Willis goes to work again. The 1-2 pitch to work. Moved him back. He hit the dirt. 2-2. Outfield on Wirt is slightly around to right. The center field of flood just a little bit in right center. Freehand edging off first. The 2-2 delivery. Watch out. That one hit him in the back. He is hit by a pitch. Well, the Tigers have 2 men on and nobody out. And McLain will be coming to bat. So the first 8 men reach base for Detroit.
I think it would be safe for me to come in with one of my fearless predictions here, Ernie. I think with no one out, I think that Denny McLain will be bunting these runners over.
All right, Dr. Reese, we'll see here. Set the pitch. He is knocked down and missed the ball. He fell on his back, and Bill Haller looked at Denny and then said, ball 1. Cepeda charging in from first base. Shannon inside the bag at 3rd. Ball 1 to count on Denny McLain. Tigers lead 8-0 in the 3rd inning. They've got 2 men on and nobody out. Willis delivers. McLain bunts the ball toward 3rd. Willis comes off the mound, doesn't field it. Shannon picks it up. Throws to Javier covering first. It's the sacrifice. Freehand to 3rd, and on to 2nd goes Wirt. That play goes the 3rd baseman to the 2nd baseman covering first base. Well, now the Tigers have batted around, and McAuliffe, who started the 6-run surge here in the 3rd inning with the base on balls, steps up for the 2nd time in the inning. 273 for the series. They're pulling their infield in a little bit now. Man on third, Freehand. Man on second, Work. And McAuliffe is not going to get a chance to bat. They're going to load the bases and pitch to the right-hand batting Stanley. This will be the fourth Tiger walk here in this inning. And it's just a matter of a pitch or so now before McAuliffe is put on purpose. So the bases are loaded, and Stanley will be the batter. He fly to right and single.
Of course, Red Shandies will play his infield back, Mickey Stanley. You know even better than I do, Ernie. He's a pretty hard man to double up. Unless the ball is hit pretty hard, he goes down that first base line with very good speed. He's one of the fastest of the Tigers. The pitch is high for a ball. The Tigers have scored 6 times, one of the big innings in World Series history. The Philadelphia A's scored 10 runs in the 7th inning of the 4th game of the 1929 World Series. The wind-up and the pitch. Strike. He got the outside corner. Detroit got 2 in the second. 6 more here in the third. Freehand, Wirt, and McAuliffe on the bases for the 1 down on a 1-1 count on Mickey Stanley. Grounding ball on the right side. Cepeda has it. Goes to the plate. They get the force out there, and that's all. Freehand is force. Cepeda to McCarver. The throw was a little bit to the first base side, but Pee Wee, I don't think they had a chance to get anybody else. No, I don't think so, because Cepeda did not go back to first base. He didn't think they had a chance, and of course the pitcher would have had to gotten there, and that is a tough play for that pitcher to get over to first base and make that double play. I don't believe McCarver would have made the throw if it had been a good throw by Cepeda at home.
Here's Kaline coming to bat. He's had 1 single in this inning, and the first time at bat of the first inning, he struck out. Swing is a line shot. Left center field. Wirt will score. Rounding third is McAuliffe, and he comes in to score, and Stanley takes third base on the single. So that's 8 runs in this inning now, and the Tigers lead 10-0. Kaline knocking in 3 runs here in the 8-run third inning. Runners are at first and third, and Cash the batter. Here comes Billy Muffet out again. McAuliffe scored on that drive. So did Don Wirt. Stanley moved to third. Kaline safe on the single. And it looks as if we'll have another pitching change before Norman Cash bats. Jasper came in to pitch to Cash. That was the first pitching change, and now we're going to have another one in the same situation.
Would you believe this sounds just a little bit like the Tigers and the St. Louis Cardinal football team playing? Into the first quarter, 10-0. I imagine that some of the Cardinals will be doing a rain dance over there right now in the dugout, trying to bring on rain, as the Tigers were the other Sunday over in Detroit. When the Tigers were trailing by a score of 4-0, they wanted rain then, and I'm sure trailing 10-0 here in Busch Stadium today, I'm sure the Cardinals would like to see a little downpour.
This is Dick Hughes coming down the foul line from the bullpen. Kaline is tied a World Series record with his second hit in 1 inning and 3 RBIs in 1 inning. And the Tigers now have counted 8 runs here in the third. They have a total of 10 runs on 7 hits and no errors. The Cardinals have no runs on 1 hit and 1 error. Dick Hughes of Stevens, Arkansas, who injured his shoulder in the regulation season in June, pitching against Cincinnati.
Ernie, it doesn't seem too long ago since yesterday, in the first inning, with the Cardinals leading in this series by 3 games to 1, and the way they came out of that gate yesterday, scoring 3 runs in the first inning, you're more or less feeling a little sorry for the Tigers because they had not looked good in the series. And we were talking about it. You know, they had played great all year, and hoped the fans of Detroit and all over the country did not forget what a fine job they did during the '68 season. But they bounced back yesterday to to win that ball game. And they have this one here in pretty good shape. And this is the way this ball club has been playing all year, Ernie. As you know, seems like they have been counted out in so many games throughout the year. And to come back and win them, being down 3 games to 1 in this series, who knows? But they still have to face Gibson tomorrow.
Yeah, they got to think a little bit about that. Right now, Hughes takes over, and he takes his tune-up tosses. This will be Hughes' first appearance in this World Series. And he follows Washburn, Gatter, and Willis to the mound. Dick Hughes, the 29-year-old right-hander, he spent 9 years in the minors before he made it to St. Louis to 6. Man on first and a man on third. Stanley is at third base, Kaline at first. They're 2 out, and Norman Cash, the batter. He's walked and singled and scored 2 runs in the game. Takes the curve across for a strike. Detroit 10, St. Louis nothing. That's the score in the third. The Tigers have sent 12 men to bat in this third inning. There's a high fly ball to right. It may be foul. It'll be out of play either way, and it is a foul ball back into the seat. He had the distance, but not the direction on that one. Strike 2, the count on Cash. Hughes, peering through his glasses, delivers. Here's a foul ball out of play. Strike 2, the count on Cash. The big blow of this inning, a grand slam by Jim Northrup. Here's the set, the strike 2 pitch. In close. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Cash. Detroit 10, St. Louis nothing, third inning. Set, the pitch on the way, fouled out of play. Behind the plate, still 1-2 on Norman. Native of Justisburg, Texas, Norman Cash. One-time Chicago White Sox outfielder. And first baseman. Waiting on a 1-2 pitch. Here it comes. Swung on a high hopper over the head of Cepeda. It'll be a base hit. Stanley will score. Kaline races around second, goes to third, and the Tigers have another run and lead 11-0. Their 9th run of the inning. Cash singles home a run. Kaline takes third. Willie Horton will be the batter. And one of the big innings in World Series history. As we told you, the A's scored 10 in the 29 World Series. 7th inning of the 4th game. Here's Willie Horton batting. He takes the ball outside, ball 1. Willie has doubled and walked. 13 Tigers have come to bat in this 9-run inning. Hughes ready to delivers. Horton takes the ball outside, 2-0.
Well, since we're talking about records, Ernie, the 2 hits by Kaline and Cash here in this inning ties the series record, also with 13 others. The last one was that did it was Frank Quillisi of the Twins in 1965.
2 balls, no strikes. That's the count on Horton. Tigers lead 11-0 in the third. Foul ball out of play. 2-1 the count on Will. The set, the pitch. Low and a good pickup by McCarver. He backhanded that ball very neatly. It was in the dirt to the first base side. 3-1 the count on Willie Horton. A fantastic inning for the Detroit Tigers. 9 runs across the plate. Outfield deep to left on Willie Horton. The set and the pitch. Swung on a bounding ball off the glove of Hughes. He races over to pick it up. A run will score. Kaline coming in. Cash takes second. Horton is safe at first. We'll wait for the scorer's verdict on that one. Hughes got his glove on the ball, and it bounded away to his right over toward the third base line. And the Tigers have scored 10 runs to make it 12-0. The official score says that's a single and an RBI for Willie Horton. Two men on. Horton on first. Cash is at second base. It was Kaline who scored that time. And here's Jim Northrup up. And he's knocked in 4 runs already in this inning and has a chance to knock in 3 more. That would be the maximum. 12-0, Detroit leading. A 10-run surge by the Tigers. He swings a fly ball to left. Brock going back. It's not deep enough. He's there. Makes the catch in the corner. And the side retires. So the Detroit Tigers get 10 runs on 7 hits. There were no errors. 2 were left. And at the end of the first half, the third, it's Detroit 12, St. Louis nothing. Pee Wee Reese along with Ernie Harwell here at Busch Stadium. This Javier will be the first batter for the Cardinals. Tell you all about it, Ernie Harwell. Thank you, Pee Wee. Julian Javier now, the second baseman, batting in the third. The Tigers lead 12-0. Javier, Maxwell, and then the pitcher Hughes scheduled to bat third. Julian Javier having a good series, batting .421. Swings as a drive to right. Kaline is waiting. Goes to the glove side, makes the catch for the out. Javier retired on a fly ball to Kaline. Now Maxwell will be the batter. Right-hand hitting infielder. And he's looking for his first hit of the series. Bill Freeham, the Tiger catcher, broke his hipless string as he singled in the second. And now Javier has a chance to do likewise here in the third. He takes the ball high. Maxwell, I beg your pardon. Javier applied to Kaline in right. Maxwell, the batter. And it's a ball high. 2-0 to count on him. Outfield straight away on Dal Maxwell. McLain kicks and deals. Here's a strike call. 2 balls, 1 strike. Detroit 12, St. Louis nothing in the third. Swing and a miss, 2-2. Well, the pattern for the Tigers throughout the year with McLain pitching was that they scored a lot of runs for him. Nothing like this, though. No, sir. Here's the pitch. Swing and a foul out of play. Maxwell the batter, and the count 2-2.
You're talking about Bill Freehand and Maxwell, but Freehand had gone 0 for 16 coming into today's game. Maxwell was 0 for 16. Bill, by his own admission, was messed up in his timing and looked bad at the plate. He's gotten his first hit, but Maxwell has looked sharp up there. He's hit the ball hard 7 or 8 times. He just can't seem to find a hole.
Here's the ball outside, and the count on Dal now goes to 3-2. McLain ready to go to work again now. The full count pitch. Swung on. There's a drive to left center. Northrup going over. Is there. Makes the catch for the out. Maxwell retired on a fly to center fielder Jim Northrup. Now Ricketts will come into bat for the pitcher Hughes at this spot. Ricketts, a switch batter, will be batting left-handed against right-handed Denny McLain. He has not yet appeared in the World Series. Takes a strike and above the knees. Strike 1 on Ricketts. They batted .136 in the National League season. McLain kicks and delivers under the chin with a fastball. 1-1. Detroit 12. The Cardinals nothing. Third inning. Now the motion and the 1-1 pitch on the way. Curve down around the ankles. 2-1 on Ricketts. Base is empty. 2 down. Ricketts leans in waiting. Now swings and fouls it out of play on the third base side. Into the mezzanine seat from the count 2-2. Ricketts batting left-handed. Now the motion in the 2-2 delivery by McLain. Swung on a line shot to the field. A sharp single fielded now by Northrup. Ricketts in his World Series debut singles to center. That's the second hit off McLain. The other was a leadoff single by Cepeda in the second. Now Lou Brock comes to bat. Brock bounced out to McLain, his only time up in this game. The leading hitter in the World Series, and what a great series he's had. Lou Brock. Outfield is straight up. The infield is a little bit up on him. He swings his a drive to right. Kaline backs up his air. It's in his glove. The side retired. And at the end of 3, it's Detroit 12, St. Louis nothing. Well, the Detroit Tigers in game number 6 of the 1968 World Series come in with 2 runs in the second, 10 more runs in the third, and they lead the world champion St. Louis Cardinals now 12-0 as we get ready to go into the 4th inning. And it's our pleasure to join you folks, and we'll all tune in and hear from Pee Wee Reese.
All right, Ernie, thank you very much. Today's attendance, another nice crowd here in this 68 World Series, 54,692. Bill Freehan will be the first hitter for the Tigers. He'll be followed by Don Wirt and Denny McLain. Steve Carlton, left-hander, first pitch, a good fastball in there for call strike 1. In case you just joined us, the Tigers scored 10 runs in the 3rd inning, 2 in the 2nd. They lead in this ball game by a score of 12-0. Carlton, curveball, little hopper out to Shannon, cuts over in front of Maxwell, over to Cepeda. And that's all for Bill Freehan. So Bill Freehan, after getting his first hit in this series, after going 0 for 16 and walked in that big 3rd inning, goes out for the first time today. Don Wirt has walked, hit by a pitch ball. Officially he hadn't been up, and he fouls the first pitch straight back. Strike 1. Washburn started for the Cardinals. Then came Jaster, Willis, Hughes, and now then Steve Carlton. 1 strike on Don Wirt. That ball has popped up. Someone should have it. Maxwell comes in right at the pitcher's mound. Hollis spot and takes it. For out number 2. So quickly, Steve Carlton gets 2 outs here. And Denny McLain getting a nice hand by some and getting a few boos by others. Steve Carlton looking down to Tim McCarver. Here's the kick and the pitch. Swing on, miss, strike 1. Game number 6 of the World Series. And it looks like it will be going to the 7th game tomorrow. Swing and a miss, strike 2. This is the 65th World Series. 2 strikes on Denny McLain. He foul-tipped it. National League teams have won 4 of the last 5 series and 9 of the last 14. But the American League teams have a 38-26 margin in series competition. Swing and a miss, strike 3. That's all for Denny McLain, and that's all for the Tigers in the bottom half of the 3rd inning. So the score after 3 full innings, the Tigers 12. 3.5 innings, the Tigers 12, the Cardinals nothing.
Going to the last half of the 4th inning, Detroit leads St. Louis 12-0. The Tigers got 2 runs in the second. They added 10 in the third, featuring a grand slam homer by Jim Northrup. Now here's Pee Wee Reese.
Kurt Flood steps in there. He takes the first pitch. It's high and inside, ball 1. It'll be Flood, Roger Maris, and Cepeda. The Cardinals trying to get back into this ball game. They trail 12-0. Denny McLain, slow curve, too high, ball 2. Flood came into this game 6 for 20, batting .300. He's lined out his first time up. Fastball hit off into right field. Al Kaline coming in. McAuliffe going back. McAuliffe calls for it and takes it one-handed in bad territory out in short right field as Kaline came over. Norm Cash went out, but McAuliffe caught it. It's always much easier for the second baseman to take that ball the same way to the left field line for the shortstop to take it. And that's what he did. It's one away, and Roger Maris, the hitter. coming into this series batting .083. He grounded out his first time up. Takes the first pitch. It's high outside, ball one. Denny McLain, who won 31 games during the season, has lost 2 in this series, looking for his first win. Curveball in there for call strike 1. 1 ball and 1 strike. Bill Howell, the umpire behind home plate. Bill Freehan giving the sign. McLain, as a rule, pitches pretty fast. The 1-1 pitch to Maris. Grounder out to McAuliffe. It goes off his glove out into right field. Maris makes the turn at first. Kaline up with the ball. And let's see what they give Maris on that one. The ball was hit hard. Well, they give Roger Maris a base hit. And you can see, or you can hear, the fans here, even though most of them are Cardinal fans, do not like the call. Roger Maris on at first. Cepeda, the hitter. He's 1 for 1 today. Swinging and a miss, strike 1. Cepeda has had a hot bat lately. 1 strike on him. McLain, the kick. The ball has popped up. Downward. At third, Mickey Stanley comes over and says, I'll take it, and takes it for out number 2. Tim McCarver. Flat out to right field, his first time up. Having a good series. 7 for 20 coming into today's game. Batting .350. McCarver takes the curveball. It's a little high. Ball 1. This is Tim's 3rd series. He went from one extreme to the other in his 2 series, leading both clubs in hitting, 478 and 64, and last year dropping to 125. This year, his good year. Swinging a foul straight back. And they count 1 ball and 1 strike on Tim McCarver. The score, the Tigers 12. The Cardinals nothing. We're in the bottom half of the 4th inning here at Busch Stadium. Pee Wee Reese and Ernie Harwell bringing you today's game, the 6th game of the World Series. Some enjoying it. I'm sure some people not. There's a ball hit hard off the left field line, but it's foul. McCarver hits a lot of balls down that left field line and left center. Harton in the left field plays him just about like a right-handed hitter. Northrup plays him straight away, and so does Kaline in right field. 1 ball, 2 strikes on McCarver. It's 2 away. We have a runner at first base and Roger Maris. McLain set the kick. Fastball too high. 2-2 is the count.
See, well, it must be sort of a rough feeling when you're on a ball club and you're down 12-0. I mean, they've got to get back in there.
Yes, I would think you're right.
You've had that feeling once in a while with the Brooklyns, didn't you?
Well, I can remember being a coach in the 1959 World Series with the Dodgers against the White Sox, and the White Sox beat us something like 11-1 in the first game, and I'm telling you, it was a little embarrassing to go out to that third base coaching line. In there for call strike 3, McLain gets McCarver looking, and that's all for the Cardinals here in the bottom half of the 4th inning. So the score after 4 full innings, the Tigers 12 and the Cardinals nothing. Dick McAuliffe leading things off for the Tigers here. The first pitch by Steve Carlton was low and outside. Just got the outside corner for strike 1. Here's the second pitch. Just a little bit low. Makes it count 1 ball and 1 strike. 12 runs, 9 hits for the Tigers. No runs, 3 hits for the Cardinals. McAuliffe, this is his 4th time he's been in. Takes a pitch in there for call strike 2. 1 ball and 2 strikes. In the first inning, he struck out. And he walked twice. In the big 3rd inning, when the Tigers scored 10 runs, he started the inning off with a walk. He got 1 the second time up in that inning on an intentional pass. A swing and a miss, and Carlton strikes him out. That's the second strikeout for Steve Carlton. Most of you fans remember Carlton. The start of this year, he was 7-1. Before going to the All-Star game, he was an All-Star pitcher. Then he ran into a little trouble. They took him out of rotation, but he's looked sharp here today. Mickey Stanley, the hitter. The first pitch in there for call strike one. One strike on Mickey Stanley. He flied out. Single in the third inning. And also hit into a force out in the third inning. One ball, one strike on Mickey Stanley. He's 5 for 20 in the series. One ball, one strike. It's one away. Grounder out the shortstop. Maxwell, he's up with the ball. Over to Cepeda, and that's all for Mickey Stanley. And Steve Carlton still looks sharp. Al Kaline having quite a series for himself. He's 2 for 3 today. Curveball in there for call strike one. The one strike pitch to Kaline. Did he get him? Just missed him. Breaking pitch inside makes the count 1 ball and 1 strike. The 4 pitches by the Cardinals in the third inning. Tied another series record. Been done 5 times previously. There's a ball hit hard out of left field. That ball could be gone. A home run for Al Kaline. Well, Al Kaline, waiting 16 years to get into a World Series, being congratulated by his teammates over there in the dugout. And what a series he's having. Norm Cash lines one out into right field for a base hit. Roger Marisol cuts the ball off. And Cash goes down to first base and holds right there. That was Kaline's second home run in the series. He's had 2 doubles. Norm Cash having a fine series. Let's see. Kaline has 3 straight hits. And now so does Cash. 6 hits between them. Woody Hart pops it up. Should be all for the Tigers. Here is Maxwell takes it for the third out, and that's all for Willie Harton. But after 4.5 innings of play, the Tigers now lead in this ball game by a score of 13-0. Ernie Harwell and Pee Wee Reese in St. Louis. By the way, Joe DiMaggio makes a 17-day tour of the military hospitals in the Pacific, along with 3 active players at the close of the season. Trip arranged by Commissioner of Baseball William D. Eckert in cooperation with the Department of Defense and USO. Rick Mundy of the Athletics, Ron Klein of Pittsburgh, Ron Taylor of the Mets will go along with Mr. DiMaggio. Thank you, Ernie. Mike Shannon swings on the first pitch and fouls it back. Ernie, listen to this. We've given a lot of records and tied records. McAuliffe with 2 base-on balls in the third inning, 1 intentional, tied a series record done only once previously. Guess who it was? Pee Wee Reese? No. No. Lefty Gomez of the Yankees in 1937.
That's the upset of the day right there.
Lefty Gomez. He was not noted for his hitting, and somebody made a couple of real big mistakes there.
I think they walked him on purpose, do you?
No, I don't think so. 2 strikes on Mike Shannon. Fastball high inside by Denny McLain. McLain all the way for the Tigers. We're in the bottom half of the 5th inning. He has given up no runs. 3 hits. The Tigers have 13. And Shannon did not look good on that swing. It was a slider. High and outside, he just kind of waved at it. So McLain gets his second strikeout in this game. He has not walked a man. And that brings up Javier, who flied out to right field his first time up. Denny McLain on the mound for the Tigers. On the year 31-6. I know in those first 2 games he was disappointed, but today he has looked sharp. It'll be tough for him to lose this one. We're in the bottom half of the 5th inning. Breaking pitch high and outside. Ball 1. The 6th game of the World Series. The 7th game, if needed. We'll be here tomorrow, right in Busch Stadium. Pitch is too high, ball 2. And Ernie Harwell and I'll be right back here to bring you that game. And the pitchers should be. We know one of them. That'll be Bob Gibson. who has already won 2 games. He won 3 games in the series last year against the Red Sox. And we think it'll be Lolich for the Tigers. Ball hit hard, downward. Picks it off, a line drive right at Wood at third. So it's 2 up and 2 down here in the bottom half of the 5th inning. Maxwell still looking for his first base hit in this series. And I said last time, and I'll say it again, he's hit about 8 or 9 balls hard but cannot find a hole. McLain comes sidearm. It's in there for strike 1. Cash at first. McAuliffe at second. Stanley at short. Word at third. Harton in left. Northrup in center, and Kalin in right. Breaking pitch outside. 1 ball and 1 strike. Freehand doing the catching. McLain on the mound. Kick by McLain. The pitch is foul straight back, and the count on Dow is 1 ball and 2 strikes. The attendance today, 54,692. The kick by McLain. Breaking pitch outside. Fouled off the right by Maxwell. And the count remains 1 ball and 2 strikes. Fine game that was yesterday, Ernie. I think that was, without a doubt, one of the finest World Series games I ever saw.
Well, the Tigers showed the kind of season form they had coming from behind to win that one.
There's a ball hit out in the right field. Al Kaline goes. Can he catch it? It's just foul. Yes, you feel like I'm kind of rooting for this shortstop, Ernie, but, you know, I always got to feel sorry for these fellas when they don't get a base hit. There's a ball just 1 foot more to the left, and he has himself a double.
Well, that's a pattern that he's followed all series. He's, as you say, hit it, but it just hadn't dropped in for him, so it will sooner or later.
1 ball, 2 strikes. On Dow, Maxwell, 2 away. We're in the bottom half of the 5th inning. McLain kicks a leg, comes sidearm, and Maxwell fouls another one. 4 straight he's fouled off.
You know, some of the real great stars of baseball have had bad World Series. Ty Cobb, for instance, never had much of a record in World Series play, and yet he was considered one of the great competitors of all time.
Radio 76, this is WJR Detroit.
Over, look out. Al catches it. About the same place the other was, and Al moved over just a little bit. So that's all for Dow Maxwell, all for the Cardinals here in the bottom half of the 5th inning. So after 5 innings, the Tigers 13, the Cardinals nothing.
Pee Wee, Commissioner Eckert has announced that sluggers Ken Harrelson and Ernie Banks will head up a delegation of major leaguers who will tour Vietnam service bases in November. Upon arrival in Vietnam, the group will split into 2 units to enable them to visit as many outposts as possible. And other major leaguers on the trip are Ron Swoboda, Larry Jackson, and Pete Rickard. Cardinal General Manager Bing Devine and Public Relations Director Al Flashman will accompany the players. Well, the Tigers lead at the end of 5. It is now a regulation game, come what may, in the weather department. That was quite a worry for officials here before the game got underway. It's 13-0, Detroit leading, going to the 6th inning. Here's Pee Wee again.
Thank you, Ernie. Steve Carlton facing Jim Northrup. The first pitch by a curveball in there for call strike 1. Northrup struck out in the 2nd. Hit a grand slam home run in the 3rd inning. He tries to check his swing. Hits a line drive. Foul down the 3rd baseline. Quickly, Carlton gets 2 strikes on him. Over to retrieve the ball, Lou Brock. And it's been all Tigers today. 13 runs on 11 hits. The Cardinals, no runs against Denny McLain, and he's given up 3 hits. That pitch is a little bit low by Carlton. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Northrup will be followed by Bill Freehand and Don Word. Top half the 6th inning. Carlton kicks, and he has a big one. That ball is fouled off the left. The count remains 1 ball and 2 strikes. For the Cardinals, Cepeda at first, Javier at second, Maxwell at short, Shannon at third. Rock in left, Flood in center, Maris and Wright and McCarver doing the catching and Carlton doing the pitching, the big kick, and here it comes. Bates, no, falls it hard out into center field. Flood can not come up with it. Thought he may have a chance. But Northrup gets his second hit in this ball game. And the Tigers are at it again. Bill Freehan singled, walked, and grounded out. Got his first base hit today. He is now 1 for 18 in the series. Carlton, first pitch to him is inside for ball one. Tony Cuccinella coaching down at third base for the Tigers. Over at first base, Wally Moses. Curveball in there. Call strike one. Johnny Sane. A lot of you people remember. Great pitcher, used to be with the Braves. Sane and Spahn. There's a high fly out into right field. Roger Maris coming in. Javier out there, but pulls away and lets Maris take it. So it's one away. Johnny Sane, the pitching coach for the Tigers. That brings up downward. He checks with coach Tony Cuccinella down at third. Jim Northrup on at first base. Looks over at Northrup, the kick. A fastball, sinking fastball, low and outside, ball one. Ward is walked, hit by a pitch, and popped to the shortstop, Maxwell. Here's the kick, the pitch. Curveball. Not in there. 2-0. See Bob Gibson over in the Cardinal dugout with the jacket on, thinking about tomorrow's game, I imagine. Carlton throws to Cepeda, making sure that Northrup did not get too far off of there with that 13-0 lead. Fastball, high and outside, ball three. Ernie, has Lolich pitched very much during the season with 2 days rest?
No, I don't recall that he has. He was in the bullpen in the middle part of the year after sort of a good start. And then he fell off a little bit, and Mayo put him in the bullpen and brought him back.
Well, when they put him in the bullpen, he wasn't pitching too well, was he?
No, he was pitching badly after a pretty good start.
He came on strong at the end. Won 11 straight games. Ball hit hard is going foul down the third baseline by Don Wirth. Northrup checks at second. Coming back to first.
Lolich has had a pattern of pitching well in the spring and well in the last part of the season and not too well in the middle part. Last couple of years he's been that way.
Did you ever ask him why?
Well, we've asked him, but nobody knows the answer.
I bet he'd like to know. They pick Northrup off. Cepeda's running to second. He throws the ball to Maxwell. Now then, Carlton gets in the picture and hit Northrup in the head with the ball. McCarver's chasing the ball down. They must have ruled they did. Tom Gorman, the umpire at first base, ruled interference by Jim Northrup. That's the way to get him out, Ernie. The play went from 1 to 3 to 6 to 1 in case you're keeping score. It makes it 2 away. What he did, Northrup was watching the throw, and the throw came to, as the ball hit out into short right field. Cepeda going back underneath the ball and takes it for the third out. Well, that's all for Don Wirth. That's all for the Tigers in the top half of the sixth inning. The score after 5.5 innings of play, it's the Tigers 13, the Cardinals nothing.
Well, Pee-wee, on that interference play Northrup called, that looked like a few elbows flying around there, didn't it?
Yeah, I was going to try to explain it when we had the last out and had to get out of the inning. But when the ball was thrown, Northrup was looking back at Maxwell, and as soon as he released the ball was not thrown too hard. They had him easily, and he just, like a bird, he raised his elbows up, hit the ball, and the umpire, Tom Gorman, right down on top of it, said, "No dice, Jim, you're out."
Well, we're going to have Bob Tolan up here as a pinch batter, Pee-wee.
Tolan, will be batting for Steve Carlton, who did a fine job. But great. Batting for Steve Carlton, Bobby Tolan takes the first pitch from Denny McLain. It's outside, ball one. So we've seen 5 pitches for the Cardinals today. Now we'll see 6. We'll wait and see who it is coming in. Here's Bobby Tolan. Fouls one back, counts 1 ball and 1 strike. Tolan batted .230.
Well, we're going to have Bob Tolan up here as the fifth batter, see we.
Tolan will be batting for Steve Carlton, who did a fine job. But great. Batting for Steve Carlton, Bobby Tolan takes the first pitch from Denny McLain. It's outside, ball one. So we've seen 5 pitches for the Cardinals today. Now we'll see 6. We'll wait and see who it is coming in. Here's Bobby Tolan. Fouls one back, counts 1 ball and 1 strike. Tolan batted .230. During the season, he's a switch hitter. I would say that this fella may not be the base runner that Lou Brock is, but he has the same kind of speed. With Roger Maris retiring after this year, this fella has a real good shot at that right field position. Fastball in there for call strike 2. And Ernie, you put Brock and Flood and Tolan in an outfield, maybe you have to be a 22 shot out there to get a base hit.
You're not kidding.
2 pitch by Denny McLain. It's fouled off the left, and the count remains 1-2. Tigers scored 2 in the second inning, 10 in the third, and 1 in the fifth. The Cardinals have failed to touch home plate. 13-0. Tigers over the Cardinals. A changeup. It's popped up. Norm Cash going over. He can't get it. 2 strikes on Bobby Tolan. Pinch hitting for Steve Carlton here in the bottom half of the 6th inning. The 6th game of the World Series. The 7th game, if needed, will be played right here tomorrow at Busch Stadium. A good fastball and a swing and a miss, and just threw the ball right by Bobby Tolan. See, only the 3rd strikeout for Denny McLain. One away, Lou Brockton and Bill Haller, the umpire. Steps out and holds up his hand and calls time. He was not ready. Everybody else was, but Bill wasn't. Curveball, McLain bounces out in front of home plate. 1 ball. Lou Brock has not been on today. He has 7 stolen bases in this series. Tied his own record. I imagine if he gets on, he'd like to have 8 to break his own record. There's a foul, straight back. 1 ball, 1 strike on Lou Brock.
Pee Wee also has 14 for the World Series, and if he can steal 1 more, make it 15, he'll break the World Series record for, that is, career steals in the World Series. Was held by Eddie Collins. Pretty fair country ball player. There's a foul, straight back. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Lou Brock. Kurt Flood in that on deck circle over there, taking that stance of his like he does all the time. When the pitcher's pitching, he's always taking practice swings. This is something he was taught in high school by his high school coach, and he still does it. He's one of the hardest workers on this Cardinal ball club. He's always taking batting practice, extra batting practice. And it pays off for him. Gets for him 200 hits every year. There's a ball hit out to the second baseman. Oh, takes the bat out. Over his head. K-line in to retrieve the ball. Brock makes the turn at first. And it will have to be a base hit for Brock. Yes, sir. He's got his shot at him now. The Tigers have a 13-0 lead. Brock on first base.
And you can hear the rumbling in the crowd. This fellow seems to excite you, whether you're trailing 13 runs or game is tied up. There's a fastball to Flood in there for call strike one. It's one away. Brock off there a couple steps. Not too big of a lead. He made a bluff, but he didn't intend to go because when he decides to go, he gets up bigly. One of the biggest leads I've ever seen by a base stealer. Not he and Will are both very daring over there. As my old baseball coach used to tell me, you may as well get thrown out at first as at second. Brock makes another the bluff, and Flood fouls one off the right again. 2 strikes on Kurt Flood. And the fans want to see him go.
Hitting behind Brock makes Flood a better hitter, getting all those fastballs.
You better believe it. 2 strikes on Kurt. And the fans are hauling for Brock to go. He did not go and has popped up, but no chance for Bill Freehand. Still 2 strikes on Flood. We're in the bottom half of the 6th inning. Tigers, 13. The Cardinals, nothing. Yes, sir, 13. 10 big runs in the 3rd inning. McLain, the kick. Flood fouls another one off down the right field line. And another thing, Brock on that first base. When he's getting ready to steal, we can see looking out here and at the shortstop Stanley, he's way over toward the bag. So is McAuliffe. Gives Flood a few more holes to hit it through that infield, too. Swing and miss on a curveball. That's what Ernie was talking about. It looked like Brock was not going. So McLain decided to try Flood on a curveball. And he struck him out. So it's 2 away. McLain has 2 strikeouts here in the 6th inning, his 3rd and 4th of the game. And Roger Maris is the hitter. 2 away. Brock on at first. Fastball, too high, ball 1. 13-12-0 for the Tigers. 0-4-1 for the Cardinals. And Brock has not given any indication that he's going to try to steal a base. It's popped up out into right field. Al Kaline coming in. McAuliffe going back. McAuliffe calls for it and takes it. And that's all for Roger Maris, and that's all for the Cardinals here in the bottom half of the 6th inning. So the score after 6 full innings, it's still the Tigers 13 and the Cardinals nothing. New pitcher now for the Cardinals, Wayne Granger, the right-hander. This will be his World Series debut for Mr. Granger, a tall right-hander, coming on now to do the pitching. Ron Davis and Granger were the only 2 Cardinals before the series started who had not seen series competition. Davis has played in 2 or 3 games, so Granger now comes in to get his baptism of fire against the Tigers. Denny McLain will lead off. The Tigers have a 13-0 lead over the Cardinals in the 7th inning. McLain is hit in double play, sacrificed, and struck out. Tall right-hander, Granger, ready to go to work. He sidearms him, swing and a miss by Denny, strike 1. Granger is from Springfield, Massachusetts. He's 24 years old. And when he lived up there, he used to root for the New York Giants. Here's a cut and a miss by Denny McLain. Strike 2. McLain without a hit in the World Series competition, 0 for 5. Limited the Cardinals to only 4 hits this afternoon. All ball out of play in the dirt back of the plate. Well, the Tigers got 2 runs in the 2nd to lead 2-0. Then they broke the game wide open. With 10 in the 3rd, they sent 15 batters to the plate in that 3rd inning. They scored another one in the 5th. Here's the ball outside. 1-2 in the 5th inning. Kaline's home run scored the run. The big blow in the 10-run surge in the 3rd was a grand slam by Jim Northrup. Now the 1-2 pitch by Granger. Curveball struck him out. He swung and missed. That is a strikeout victim.
Granger will pitch to the top of the Tiger batting order, Dick McCullough. Dick is struck out twice and walked twice. The 2 walks came in the 3rd inning, and he scored 2 runs in that inning. There's a tap foul and out of play off the shin guards of McCarver. In the 3rd inning for the Tigers, the first 6 batters scored runs. And the first 10 had a perfect batting percentage. There was a couple of walks, a hit batter, and a sacrifice in there. Here's the windup in the pitch. It's in close for ball, 1-1 on McCullough. Detroit 13, St. Louis nothing in the 7th inning. Lanky right-hander Wayne Granger delivers, watch out, in close, it almost got him. 2 balls, 1 strike. That's the count on McCullough. Runs batted in for Detroit. Kaline has 4, Northrup 4, Cash 2, Horton 2, and Freehand 1. Waiting on a 2-1 delivery. McCullough takes a ball low. 3-1 the count on him. Granger joined the Cards in May, at the last of May this year, coming up from Tulsa. Picks up his sign from McCarver, ready to go to work. It's the 3-1 count on McCullough, and here's the pitch. Walked him, ball 4, in close. That's the 3rd walk to McCullough. It's the first issued by Granger. Well, the Tigers have picked up a total of 7 walks in the game, along with their 12 hits. And here is Mickey Stanley. He's fly to right, single, hit into a 4th, and bounced to shortstop. Batting .217 for the series now, 5 for 23. The outfield playing him a little bit to right. McCullough edging off. The pitch is a ball in close. He checked his swing. Ball 1. Infield and double play depth. Maxwell at short. Javier at second. Cepeda at first. Shannon the third baseman. In the outfield, the Cardinals have Brock in left, Blood and Sutter Maris in right. McCarver catching, and Granger is the pitcher. Swing and a miss by Stanley, 1-1. The Cardinals have used 6 pitchers. They started with Washburn, Gaster in the 3rd, Willis in the 3rd, Hughes in the 3rd, Carlson in the 4th, and Granger in the 7th. Carlson the most effective. He went 3 innings, allowed 1 run and 3 hits. The home run by Kaline. Tap foul in the dirt, back of the plate. Toward the screen, 1-2 on Stanley. Cloudy skies. The weatherman says we'll have better weather tomorrow. It might be raining now. I see a lot of people putting on the raincoat. There's a tap to short. Maxwell has it over to Javier for 1. The relay to first is Cepeda. Double play by the Cardinals. Innings over. And at the end of 6 1/2 innings, it's Detroit 13, St. Louis nothing. Cepeda hits the first pitch in the last half of the 7th. The fly ball to Kaline, who makes the catch. And there's 1 pitch and 1 out in the Cardinals 7th, with the Tigers leading 13-0. Raining at Busch Stadium. A lot of the customers have headed for shelter. And the others in the unprotected seats with their umbrellas and raincoats in evidence. And here's the catcher for the Cardinals, Tim McCarver, who's fly to right and struck out. Well, the St. Louis team has not moved a man past first base. They've had 4 singles off Denny McLain. 13-0, Detroit leads. McLain delivers. Here's a looping drive to right. It may drop in. Kaline charges, plays it on 1 hop. It's a single from McCarver. That's his first hit. And it is the 5th hit for St. Louis. So the Cards have a man on and a man out in the 7th inning. The Tigers lead 13-0 in the 6th game of the World Series. And the Cardinal third baseman, right-hand batting Mike Shannon, steps in. He's banged into a double play and fanned. Infield again in double play depth on him. And the outfield straight away. There's a strike on the outside corner. McLain obviously throwing a lot better than he did in his first 2 outings. Now the step by the maestro, and he delivers an inside pitch that swung on and missed. Strike 2. Tigers broke it open with a 10-run surge in the third inning. After scoring 2 in the second, they added another one in the fifth. 13-0. It's a foul ball that will be out of play, first base side. Strike 2, the count on Shannon. McLain has not walked anybody. He's fanned a total of 4. Generally, Pee Wee, I'd say he's more of a strikeout pitcher than that.
I would think so. Anyhow, he's kind of is coasting a little bit now, but he's had good stuff. I think this is the best I've seen him have control-wise in the 2 games he's pitched in the series.
Now the set, the pitch sidearm fastball is fouled away. McLain set the all-time Tigers strikeout record, beating the old record of Hal Newhouser in the regular season. Well, those scrambles for foul balls get a little tough when you got those umbrellas punching in the sides and the face. Strike 2, that's the count on Shannon. McLain checks his sign. 1 on, 1 out. The pitch, tapped foul in the dirt, back at the plate. We've been promised good weather for tomorrow. It's off and on rain throughout the day here in St. Louis. McCarver on first base, 1 out. Tigers lead 13-0. There's a ball outside. He sidearmed him and missed the far corner. Outfield plays Shannon straight up. Followed by Javier. And McLain, the Tiger right-hander, deals again. There's a bounding ball, deep shortstop. Stanley gloves it. What a play. Throw to second. He threw the ball away. It's out of the glove of McCall. Back into short right center. And the runners will move up. On to third goes McCarver. Holds there. And on to second goes the batter Shannon. He made a great stop, Pee Wee, and almost made the play.
Johnny, I've seen Stanley, and of course I've seen him play center field. He's a great center field, and I think this is the reason he could become a real good shortstop, because he gets just a terrific break on a ball. There's a ball. I can see the mark out there in the shortstop, how far he went for it. He gets a terrific jump. When that ball was hit, I thought he had no chance to come up with it. And maybe, with a good throw at second base, he may have forced McCarver at second.
So now the Cardinals have their first threat. They've got runners at second and third and 1 out. And the batter, Javier, hits a ground ball to Word. He checks his runners back and throws him out with a throw over to Cash at first. 2 down and no advance. Al Maxwell coming to bat. He tried to center, and then Kaline made a great running catch on a foul fly to get him in the 5th inning. Stanley's made 2 errors in this series, and both really penalized his extra effort. Here's the windup by McLain. The pitch is a ball low to Maxwell. The other error Stanley made was on a ball that got by Word. He grabbed it and then made the error, allowing the batter to get to second base. Here's the windup and the pitch. It's a ball low, 2-0.
Talking about that error, I didn't think that was, I don't think he should have had an error on that ball. I don't remember the one you talked about. I think it was in the first or second game.
First game, I believe.
Out here,
Now the 2-0 pitch coming up to Maxwell. He swings, lifts a fly ball to right. Kaline over, should get it. He's near the line. And makes the catch, retiring the Cardinals in their 7th. No runs on 2 hits, 1 Detroit error. 2 are left. At the end of 7, it's the Tigers 13, the Cardinals nothing.
Well, Ernie, I have another little gem here for you. I know you're glad to hear this. The biggest shutout score in series history. Yankees 12, the Pirates nothing, at Pittsburgh, 6th game, 1960. How about that?
Well, so far the Tigers are 1 up on them. But it's not over yet. We don't know what those Cardinals are going to do in the last 2. And we're still getting rain here at Busch Memorial Stadium. Tigers coming to bat in the 8th inning. Detroit broke a scoreless tie with 2 runs in the second on a walk to Cash, a double by Horton, and a single by Freehand. And then they ripped in for 10 runs, sending 15 batters to the plate in the 3rd inning. And that featured a grand slam home run by Jim Northrup. Kaline homered in the 5th inning for the 13th Tiger run. And McLain, meanwhile, has flanked the Cardinals with no runs and 6 singles. Granger, the Cardinals, ready to pitch to Al Kaline. Kaline has 4 RBIs, 2 singles and a home run. He struck out the only time they got him out. That was in the first inning. It's a ball that hits him, and I believe it got him on the left elbow. Kaline is hit on the left elbow. He seems to be in pain. He is up now and walking to first base. And Bill Beam, the Tiger trainer, is trotting right behind him as Kaline goes into a trot to first base. He's rubbing that left elbow.
That stings a little bit, Ernie. I've had that. It'll hurt for a while. A little bit longer. It may hurt a little bit more tomorrow, but I'm sure that Bill, the trainer there, may spray a little something on it.
Kaline's been injury prone throughout his career. But he always stays in there and gives them a real battle. Norman Cash will be the next man up for Detroit. Tigers lead 13-0. It's the 8th inning. Cash has had a walk and 3 singles. He's had a perfect afternoon, 3 for 3. Scored 2 runs and knocked in 2. Murky skies now. We're still playing in the rain. A bounding ball to Cepeda, knocks it down neatly and touches first base for the out on Cash. Kaline takes second. A good stop by Orlando Cepeda, who was breaking toward the bag on the pitch. Kaline moves to second. The first time the Cardinals have retired Cash this afternoon. And here's the big slugger from Detroit, Willie Horton. A double, a walk, a single, and he's popped to shortstop. Horton has 2 runs batted in. Tigers have 2 home runs in this 13-0 lead. It got him on the hand, I believe. He tried to move back, and Horton is hit by the pitch. So that'll put 2 on, 1 out, and the batter will be Northrup.
Wayne Granger, the pitcher for the Cardinals. He throws sidearm, a sinker. The ball kind of runs in on a right-handed hitter. He gets inside. You have to get out of there, bail out of there, because that ball just keeps coming right in on top of you, as it did on Kaline and Horton.
Both those Tiger hitters crowd the plate a little bit, too, so not too surprising that they get hit. Here's Northrup swinging, hitting ground ball to Granger. He throws to Maxwell, 1 out, relay to Cepeda, double play by the Cardinals, and that's all for the Tigers. At the end of 7 1/2 innings, Detroit 13, Cardinals nothing.
We're going to the bottom half of the 8th inning. See a pinch hitter coming out there for the Cardinals, John Edwards. We've had a few changes in the Detroit lineup. Jim Northrup gone from center field over to left field. Stanley's gone from shortstop out to center field, and Ray Orler has come in to play shortstop. And John Edwards coming here to bat for the pitcher, Wayne Granger. And tell you all about it, Ernie Harwell. Come on, Ernie.
Thank you, T.B. Edwards, the former Cincinnati Reds catcher, hit .239 for the season. Left-hand batter against Denny McLain and takes the ball high. John Edwards, left-hand batting catcher. 13-0, Tigers lead. Fouls it out of the middle. Bill Freehand, 1-1 the count on John. Now the pitch is fouled out of play. Back at the plate, 1 ball, 2 strikes on the native of Columbus, Ohio, John Edwards. Edwards was a top hitter in the World Series when the Cincinnati team played the Yankees in '61. Batted .364. Tigers lead 13-0. It's the 8th inning. The Cardinals are batting. Swing and a foul ball out of play. Back at third. Is the 3rd pinch hitter that manager Red Chaney has used in the number 9 spot. No pitcher so far has been to bat for the Cardinals in this game. The 1-2 delivery now. Swung on and missed. He struck him out. Number 5 for McLain. And we're getting a much heavier rain now at Busch Memorial Stadium. Lou Brock on the verge of setting stolen base records in the World Series. Steps up. Brock has 1 for 3. He's been the top hitter in the series. Playing in a heavy rain in St. Louis. Brock's average is now exactly 500. 12 for 24. He swings and and pops the foul. It'll be out of play on the third base side. Freehand coming over, but it's just behind the Tiger dugout. Well, the umpires have called time here, and play will be suspended. It's the 8th inning, and the count is strike one on Lou Brock. So the Tigers and the Cardinals are headed for the shelter of their dugouts. The total so far here in the 8th inning, Detroit has 13 runs on 12 hits and 1 error. The St. Louis Cardinals, no runs on 6 hits and 1 error. And we'll just have to wait and see what the weather conditions will be, whether this game can be resumed or whether it will be called right at this point. Here's the situation. We're in the 8th inning, the 6th game of the World Series of 1968. The Detroit Tigers are trying to get the series even. They are leading the defending champions, the St. Louis Cardinals, by a score of 13-0. The Cardinals are batting in the 8th inning. They've got Lou Brock at the plate. Strike one is the count on Brock. 1 man out and nobody on. So far, Brock has not come up to the home plate area. Denny McLain has completed his tune-up tosses. McLain has gone all the way. He has scattered 6 Cardinal singles. Only in 1 inning have the Cardinals had 2 hits. That was in the 7th when McCarver and Shannon put together back-to-back singles. So the skies are still cloudy, but the rain has subsided. And the totals right now, 13 runs, 12 hits, and 1 error for Detroit. The Cardinals have no runs, 6 hits, and 1 error. Play stopped unofficially at 3:21. It is now 4:09 here in St. Louis. And the count is strike one. Brock steps in again. He's had a single in 3 turns at bat against Denny McLain this afternoon. Denny, the Tiger right-hander, into action, and he delivers. Brock swings and misses. And the count is strike 2 on Lou. Seemed as if that rain would not stop, but it has. So Brock steps back into the batter's box now. McLain kicks, delivers. Here's a let-up pitch that's over the plate but low. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Work still laying in a little bit close at third base, despite the 1-2 count. McLain peering in, getting his sign. Now the wind-up and the pitch on the way. Swing and a miss. He struck him out on a high hard run. That is the 6th strikeout for Denny McLain. He struck out for 2 innings space here in the 8th inning. And now there are 2 down and nobody on, and Kurt Flood, the right-handed batting center fielder, steps in. Hits the ball very hard. The first tip he lined to shortstop Mickey Stanley. Then the next time he popped the second. In the 4th inning, he struck out in the 6th inning. Ball outside, a sidearm pitch from Denny McLain. Tigers lead 13-0. The Cardinals have 2 out and nobody on. It's the 8th inning. There's a foul fly out of play, 1-1. The lights have been on throughout this game. And most of the time, they've been much needed. Maris is waiting in the on-deck circle. Here's the motion by McLain, the pitch. Curveball strike. Big motion, he changed up, got the curve across. On a 1-2 pitch is Kurt Flood. Here it is. Fastball swung on, hit the right field in the air. K-line there waiting. It's in his glove and the side retired. At the end of 8, Detroit 13, St. Louis nothing.
Top half, the 9th inning. I'm sure that you know by now, 13-0. They have 13 runs on 12 hits. The Cardinals have no runs on 6 hits. And Denny McLain is just 3 outs away from pitching a shutout here for the Tigers in this 6th game. We have a new pitcher, Mel Nelson, a left-hander. He will be facing Bill Freehand, Don Wirt, and Denny McLain. Nelson's record for the season, he won 2 and he lost 1, a real good earned run average, 2.89. Started 4 games. Well, Ernie, Going in the ninth inning. Bill Freehan, the first hitter. Come on back in here.
And this is the seventh pitcher today that the Red Indians has used. Washburn, Gaster in the third, Willis in the third, Hughes in the third, Carlton in the fourth, Granger in the seventh. He was the most effective. He allowed no runs and no hits in 2 innings. And now Mel Nelson, the 32-year-old left-hander, takes over in the ninth. Nelson is the gentleman who started with the Cardinals back in 1954 as an outfielder, and then switched to pitching in the minors in 59. And the Cardinals got him back from the Minnesota minor league system. Left-hander pitching to Freehan, and the Tiger catcher takes a ball in close. Ball 1. Freehan is single to walk, bounce to third, and fly to right. His single in the second inning is his only hit in the series. The kick on the pitch. He swings. Here's a high pop-up back of shortstop, going back Maxwell, waving away Brock, and the shortstop Maxwell makes the catch. One up and one away in the Tiger ninth inning. Detroit leading 13-0 over the Cardinals. Don Wirt will be the batter. He's walked, been hit by a pitch, popped to short, and fouled out to first base. It's a strike on the inside corner. A curveball broke over. Wirt, the little right-hand batter from Pennsylvania, takes the ball in the dirt. 1-1. That's the count on him. Tigers lead 13-0 in the sixth game of the World Series. Ninth inning. 1 out, none on. Wirt looks at the ball in close. It bounds out of the net of McCarver. 2-1 to count on him. Nelson has also been Met property. Member of the Angels in Minnesota. High pop-up out toward third base. Right near third is Shannon. Makes the catch in third territory by a foot. Wirt is out. They're 2 down. Ninth inning, Tigers lead the Cardinals 13-0, and the Tiger pitcher, Denny McLain, comes to bat. Now, Denny has pitched a strong ball game after 2 unsuccessful starts. He was 0-2 coming into this game. He has scattered 6 Cardinal hits and blanked them so far. He faces Nelson, and as the batter takes a strike. Nelson gave him a fastball in the inside corner. Now the windup and the pitch. McLain pops it foul, out of play. Strike 2. Detroit broke the scoreless tie with 2 runs in the second. They added 10 runs in the third to lead 12-0, and then Kaline got him the 13th run with a home run in the 5th inning. They lead now 13-0 in the ninth inning. The windup, the strike 2 pitch, stuck him out swinging, and the side out in order. So we go to the last half tonight in game number 6, and the Tigers 13, the Cardinals nothing.
Jimmy Reese, Ernie Harwell, the last chance for the Cardinals. They trail 13-0 in this ball game. Roger Maris, the first hitter. And Ernie, is that fellow Dick Auerbach helping you with the producer Sandy Koufax show?
Oh, he's been a big help. There's a foul ball out of play. Off the bat of Maris. Strike 1. Moved a couple of pencils one way or the other and rearranged some books over there very well. Strike 1 to count on Maris. He's had 1 for 3 in this game. 2 hits in the series. McLain delivers. It's a ball in close. 1-1 on Rod. Outfield deep to right. The weather a good bit cooler now after the rain has stopped. Swinging a fly ball to center field. Here comes Stanley. He can't get it. It'll drop in front of him. On the soggy turf, and Maris has his second hit. He's the only Cardinal with 2 hits today. That is number 7 off Denny McLain. They've all been singles. And the batter will be Orlando Cepeda. Tigers lead 13-0. It's the ninth inning with the Redbirds at bat. Cepeda singled his first time up. That was in the second inning. He was erased on the double play. Up to short, wide to right. He's batting .250 for the series. Swing and a miss on a fastball at her high. Strike 1 on Orlando Cepeda. Man on first, Maris. They're not bothering about him with a 13-run lead. Cepeda takes a sidearm fastball outside, 1-1. 13-0, Detroit ahead. Denny McLain trying to hold him off here in the ninth inning. He scattered 7 singles and not allowed a run. Not walked anybody, and he struck out 6. Change up, hit on the line drive to left. A base hit. Maris checks in and holds at second. Northrup fires the ball behind him to McAuliffe, and the Cardinals have 2 men on and nobody out. Man on first, Cepeda. Man on second, Maris. Next up, Tim McCarver with a fly to right, a strikeout, and a single. Well, that's the 8th hit for St. Louis. The second inning in which they picked up 2. Second time the Cardinals have moved the man past first base. Now the left-hander batting McCarver, bent at the knees, leaning and waiting. The pitch is on the way. It's taken for a ball. Cepeda the runner at first, Maris the runner at second. 9th inning, Tigers lead 13-0 in the 6th game. McLain ready, delivers. Here's a cut and a foul tip off the throwing hand of Bill Freehand. Now Bill Beam, the Tiger trainer, is called out. Like he got it on maybe that index finger, Pee Wee.
Just saw that the trainer Bill Beam pull his finger. He probably got hit on one of his fingers, which it helps sometimes to give it a little yank.
But it helped out from the hand. Well, he's ready to go back at the bat again. McCarver at the plate. Freehand giving the sign of McLain. 2 men on, nobody out. Cardinals batting. Tigers lead 13-0. There's a fly ball to the short right. Going back is Cash near the line. Makes the catch with a glove hand. And the runners hold on. So there's 1 away. Still 2 on. And Mike Shannon steps up.
You know what's amazing, Ernie, with the Cardinals trailing 13-0 in the bottom half of the ninth, still the Cardinal fans staying here is rooting the Cardinals on.
Yes, sir. They're yelling for action. Shannon batting .292. Swings and pops it up out toward the mound. Here comes Wirt from third base near the mound, makes the catch, and there are 2 down with 2 on. Julian Javier, the second baseman at bat. And if the Cardinals want to avert the shutout, they'll have to do it right here. McLain has 1 out to go. The Tigers are leading 13-0. If the Tigers can win 13-0, they will have the most one-sided shutout in World Series history. For the old record, the Yanks beat the Pirates 12-0 in 1960. Javier, the batter. He took a sidearm fastball from Denny McLain. 2 on and 2 out. 13-0 Detroit in the last half of the 9th inning. Now the set and the pitch. Foul out of play. Back at the plate. 2 strikes. Detroit pitcher to pitch a series shutout with an old friend of mine by the name of Bobo Newsom back in 1940 when he shut out the Reds by a score of 8-0. Strike 2, the count now. McLain trying to get another one. Javier waiting. Here it comes. He swings it. There's a looping drive to right. It'll score a run. Maris is rounding third. He's coming home, and the Cardinals have scored. Javier singles to right. Maris comes home. The score now 13-1. Runners at first and second. And Javier puts the run on the board for St. Louis. So we can forget all about the shutout.
Now I found out why these fans are singing this ballpark. They wanted to see a run by the Cardinals and Denny McLain not to get that shutout.
Here's Maxwell batting now with 2 men on. And 2 away. He takes the curve high. Down is fly to right twice. One of them a foul ball. Fly to center once. 13-1. That's the score. Now the set and the pitch. It's a ball high by 2-0 on Maxwell. Bill Gagliano at the on-deck circle with the pitcher due up next. Strike, a fastball right over. 2-1. Tigers lead the Cards 13-1 of the ninth inning. McLain, second his time with freehand, 2 on, 2 out. And a 2-1 pitch coming up. Out on the screen. 2-2 the count on Maxwell. He is still looking for his first hit of the series. Dal is now 0 for 19 in the series of 68. Waiting on a 2-2 delivery from Tiger pitcher McLain. Here it is. Strike call. The game's over. In the ninth, the Cardinals get 1 run on 3 hits. There were no errors and 2 left. And the World Series goes to 7 games. Well, behind the strong pitching of Denny McLain and the lusty hitting of the Tiger bats, featuring a 10-run, third inning, the Detroit Tigers send the World Series into the 7th game. It'll be played here at Bush Memorial Stadium tomorrow. McLain all the way to win it. Washburn, the starter and loser for St. Louis. He's now 1-1 and lost 1. McLain has 1-1 and lost 2 in the series. Jasper, Willis, Hughes, Carlton, Granger, and Nelson also were on the mound for the Cardinals. Home runs, a grand slam homer in the 10-run third inning by Jim Northrup for the Tigers, and Al Kalan hit one with the bases empty in the 5th inning.